Welcome back. Welcome back. We are back with the RPO College Football Podcast. I'm Jerome Jones, your humble host, and I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend. Y'all already know who he is. My guy, Ray, man, I missed you. How you doing, sir?
I'm okay, Jerome. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great, man. We're back. If you guys don't know, this is the RPO College Football Podcast. We went on a little hiatus. And when I say little, not really little, but we've been going for a while. Me and Ray are back in action. I know a lot of you loved our college football podcast, and we are back by popular demand. I'm super excited to get this season going. We have 6 days to the first college football game to go on. Ray, I'm super excited. How are you feeling right now?
I'm very excited, like every other year. The last year and a half, while we're on hiatus, as you called it, I have not been into. I mean, I was honest, even with the draft. I would tell people because I had people come to me, yo, man, what do you think? And I would tell them honestly, I'm like, yo, man, I can help you out with the first 3 or 4 rounds, but that's about all I could do right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just didn't have the time to dedicate to it. So hopefully I'm finding more time now. Things are a little more settled with my personal life around me. So we're moving forward now. So let's go.
100%. And, we are glad to be here. We're glad to see you guys. We got a couple of people already on here live. So if you don't know, if you haven't been with us before, this is a interactive podcast. This is a live interactive podcast. This is why we like to do it live, to have the community come in and talk with us. So if you are on here and you want to ask us a question, if you don't like what we say or you love what we say, please put a comment on here. We are currently live on YouTube, Twitter, and on our Discord. So if you can, please make sure that you put a comment on here. Also, make sure you like and subscribe. If you see us on all our social media, they are at the bottom. We also have the QR code right under Ray and right behind me as well. So if you want to help us out, the best thing to do to help us out is to go to our social media, follow us on there. We have some great football content every day. We also have, right now, high school football just started. So we got a lot of content with that. College is right around the corner. And then the NFL, we got the NFL draft coming up. Tonight, we actually doing our selection show. So basically, that's our Inside the Hatches fantasy draft that's coming up in 2 weeks. We're going to be figuring out what selections and what spots everybody's going to be in that draft. So every year we try to do that, man. It'd be fun. We're going to be live on that as well. So make sure you go check that out tonight. And last but not least, make sure you check out our website. We revamped our entire website. We have some great stuff on there. And the biggest thing that we have on there right now is something called the locker room, where you can go on there and have interactions with fans and, start discussions. And, if you have a fantasy draft and you want to show your fantasy draft, you can go in there, get points and rewards and, get rankings on there. Very cool stuff. So make sure you go check that out. That's InsideTheHatches.com. So with all that being out the way, Ray, let's get it, man. Let's get it. Let's talk some college football, because it's been way too long. It's been a lot of crazy stuff going on. But the first thing we want to talk about is those college rankings. So obviously, with the college rankings, we got the sorry, changing up the. Sorry, Ray. I got you back, Ray.
Yeah,
Messing with stuff in the background, but we got some great stuff going on. Obviously, the college rankings are out, so we're gonna talk the college rankings. We're not gonna go all 25, but let's talk about we're gonna talk about the top 10, obviously, but we're gonna also talk about which ones that intrigued us and things like that. So let's start with that, Ray. What ranking intrigued you the most?
Notre Dame, honestly, I didn't know if they would be a top 5 ranked team, and they are. I mean, because I think they're a good team,
Mm-hmm.
but I think they lost their 2 running backs from last year. I'm not sure how they're going to rebound from that. But they do have Aeneas Williams, who had a really nice year last year, and he's probably going to be the number one back this year. But Notre Dame was a little intriguing that they're again ranked in the top five.
Yeah. Ranked number 4 right now. In the
Yeah.
AP poll. I think that's crazy. That's cool though. I think
Well,
it
you
makes
know what?
sense because you look at it. You got CJ Carr, who had a really good year last year. I don't think anybody anticipated that. Y'all did lose both y'all running backs, but y'all receivers are really good. You got one of the best corners in the game right now. Yeah, you guys are stacked unit. Your defense always looks good. I think a lot of people are looking at the quarterback position and feeling like it's just going to be a strong position. And CJ Carr is going to take that next step mostly.
It's just, I mean, and I hate to go back to last year because we didn't have our podcast last year.
Mhm.
But it's kind of annoying that Notre Dame didn't make the playoffs, but they're a top five ranked team. Yet they lost two first round picks as a running back last year. So maybe they should have been ranked in the top 12. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I will agree with you that it is a little high. There's a couple of teams that I might have a little bit higher than that. I'm actually surprised that you guys are higher than Indiana, to be honest. Um, so we'll see.
I'm not surprised. I know Indiana lost their quarterback, so that's going to be.
It's gonna
But
be a
they
big.
did get Josh Hoover, who started the last couple years at TCU, so he's a nice, talented player. He has turnover issues where Mendoza did not turn the ball over hardly at all last year. So we'll see how that works out.
Exactly. I think Mendoza only had one last year, if I'm not mistaken, which is insane.
I'm pretty sure I think he had like maybe one pick and one fumble or something crazy in the number like that.
Yeah, that's insane. That's insane.
Yeah.
My most surprising, obviously, Ray, y'all already know. If y'all seen this podcast, y'all already know my favorite team. I'm gonna say it's Michigan. Ray picked his favorite team, so I can pick my favorite team. So I'm gonna talk about Michigan. I actually think Michigan's a little high, and here's why. New coaching staff, like almost the entire coaching staff is new. Bryce Underwood did not show me enough last year, unlike Notre Dame where you had CJ Carr and you was like, oh wow, I see an upside with that. I didn't see that upside with Bryce Underwood, and that doesn't take away from Bryce Underwood. I think that's more of the coaching staff, and I was saying this a lot last year that I think the coaching staff kind of um, didn't develop him the way they should have. So we'll see about that. But I think Michigan's a
He
little higher than I anticipated. I thought, they're over Penn State, they're over Tennessee, who I'm actually higher on than them. Um, they're over a couple of teams that I was like, oh wow. So them being at 16, it's not too high where I'm like, all right, that's completely wrong because I could kind of see where they're coming with it because our defense is really really good. But more of me looking at the quarterback position as an unknown in a sense more than anything. But we did have some great transfers come in. We had Jimmy French, who we interviewed, come in. He's a really good receiver for us. The Haley from Utah, the edge rusher, coming in as well. Our secondary was always pretty good. We got the return of Rob Moore, so I can see why we are ranked, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't be ranked. I just think there maybe some other teams should be higher than us. What's your assessment on that, Ray?
I think that you stated your own thing, like you're not sure about a lot of things, and I think that's correct. But I do think that Michigan still has a decent offensive line, and they have enough playmakers on defense in John Henry Daly, where I think they're going to be. I would rank them ahead of Penn State too right now.
Mhm.
Some places have them ranked 13 or 14, depending on whose site you look at.
That
Now,
I think,
13 is a little high.
yeah,
But I mean, but you know what though, Jerome? That's a good thing because if they're ranked in 13 in some polls, they could sneak into the playoffs. And isn't that really what the goal is, right?
that's correct. Yeah,
So
I agree. So let's talk about that, Ray. And I'm glad that you talked about the playoffs. So playoff, if you guys know, the last couple of years been 12 teams. So you look at the 12 top ranked teams in the beginning of the season as the playoff teams. Now, obviously, that changes because you got conference leaders and this and that goes into it. But let's look at the top 12. So we got Texas Tech, LSU, Ole Miss. Sorry, Texas Tech, LSU, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Miami, Indiana, Texas, Notre Dame, Georgia, Oregon, and then number one is Ohio State. So any of the top 12, right, stands out to you? Any like rankings that you like, I don't know about that, or ooh, that's a little high for them kind of deal.
I think Alabama shouldn't be ranked in the top 15.
Oh
I don't
wow.
think I don't think they should be. I don't think honestly. My this is what bothered me about last year. The debate was should Notre Dame make the playoffs or Miami, who we had lost to early in the year, and I agree with the fact that we shouldn't make the playoffs over. But Alabama should have been the team that got knocked out, not Notre Dame or Miami.
Yeah.
Alabama did not have. Don't get me wrong, man. There's enough talent on Alabama, even this year. Will they go out there and they'll be good?
Mhm.
But they were not a top 10 team last year. They were not.
I agree, and if I'm not mistaken, they lost 3 games last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, they lost 3 games last year. Yeah, and then they lost in the bowl, in the playoffs. So they lost 4 games basically.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was me. Notre Dame, and I don't want to. I'm just going to end this with Notre Dame did lose 2 games, but like you said, they lost their first 2 games by 4 points with a
Mhm.
freshman quarterback, and then played way better at the end of the year than in the beginning, and then still got knocked out because that's what they like to do.
Yeah, so looking at it now, Alabama lost their first game to FSU 13-17. They went on to win their next 8 games. So it was 8-1. Lost to Oklahoma, which was a 23-21 game, which is still pretty close. And then their final game, they played against the number 3 ranked Georgia, who was 28-7. So looking at it the way that they were looking at it, I understood why it was a conflict with them. But from what I've always known was the rankings are always what have you done for me lately? And what happened was the last game of the season they lost. So that should have negatively, pit a lot of,
Not only that, Jerome, they lost to teams that were unranked during the middle of the season, and Notre Dame lost to 2 top 5 teams
yeah.
by a total of 4 points.
Mhm. Yeah.
Again, I'm not defending them, but I just think, and I loved Marcus Freeman's answer, and Marcus Freeman's answer was he didn't say anything bad. Like he says, we should have won one of them first 2 games. We wouldn't have to worry about it. I agree, but it
Yeah.
still was a little sticky how it all turned out at the end.
'Cause, again, normally if you lose early, it benefits you when you go on a run. And it
Correct.
was the opposite last year, where you know Alabama lost to Georgia. Now I get that the fact that Georgia was a top-ranked team at the time,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
number 3 they played them, but also it's like, yeah, you lost that game. It was late in the season, and it was also a 28-7 game. It wasn't like it was a close game, like their Oklahoma game. It was a 28-7 game where they got blown out. So it
And
kind of
honestly, Jerome, that's what I thought. I thought because of the way Georgia kind of manhandled them, that would knock them out of the playoffs. I really
yeah.
did.
I agree. So that was interesting. So for me, I'm looking at this and I'm like, all right, Ohio State. I don't like the team, but I get it. I get it. They got a
I mean,
stacked team.
let's face it, Jerome. Jeremiah Smith is the best player in college football, and their offense is loaded again.
Correct.
They just got to find their way defensively. And Matt Patricia did a good job with their defense last year, so I'm assuming he'll do a pretty good job this year. I mean,
They lost
they're
a
a
lot.
loaded team every year, and there's nothing you can do about that. Again, they have 2 or 3 of the top 10 players in college football on their team.
Yep. Yeah, and it seems like it's that every year. Unfortunately, I don't like it, obviously, but it is what it is. The big question for me is, will Justin Sane be a little bit better this year? We'll see. I'm not a big fan of him, to be honest, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he got all those weapons and makes it easy for him, you know. So we'll see. Um, then you got Oregon. I think those two teams are properly placed. Ray, I'm about to make a hot take. I think Georgia's a little bit hot, too high.
Um, Only because they're young and they have a lot of question marks. That's the only reason I agree with you.
A lot of question marks. They're still trying to figure out who's going to be their top receiver. Gunnar Stockton's not that great, I don't think. The offensive line is good, but it's not as good as it used to be. I do like their running back. Nate Frazier is going to be a beast, I believe. So I think for them to be good, I think they're gonna have to rely on the running game. Their defense is
Yes.
good. Their defense is really good. And I think that's what everybody's looking at. You got Caden Bowden. Caden Bowden. You got Ellis back there, and a whole bunch of other guys. They are really their defense is really really good. So if they can run the ball, keep the defense playing well, keep the defense off the field so they can be rested, then I'll take. Hey, I agree with the three. I agree with the three.
I think the fact that they convinced Nate Frazier to stay for an extra year and it should help their run game. And like you said, they were like a top 5 team against the run last year, which they had struggled previous years.
Yeah,
So you saw them make that adjustment. And again, if they're going to win, they're going to win a lot of close, ugly games.
I agree. I agree. So we see with that. I agree with what you're saying with Notre Dame being a little high, but I don't hate it at all. I don't hate number 4.
Yeah,
I
that's
do.
fine.
Yeah, I will say I think Texas might be better than them though. So I might flip them in Texas. If
I'm
I flip,
not. I would
I
not deny. I would have no problem with that. Plus, they have an ascending quarterback too,
yeah.
and we all know Arch Manning's. People have been waiting for him to turn that corner. It looked like last year at the end of the year he did turn the corner. So,
Correct. And it's funny
um,
because the coaches pool actually have it exactly the way I was thinking, where they have Texas 4, Notre Dame 5, but the AP poll is what we kind of look at. Um,
yeah, I mean, I my only thing about that is they're an SEC team, and I'm not feeling SEC love right now. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I will say that Texas have a really good squad. You got Collins there on the edge. You got Manning as the quarterback. They're probably going to be the top 2 players, or at least the top 5 players in next year's draft, right there. Then you got the running back, really good running backs. You got the receivers where you got what's his name? I'm blanking on the receiver's name they got in Texas, but is it Coleman? Yeah, Coleman.
yeah, Cam Coleman transfer from Auburn, and they're gonna have him and Ryan Wingo had a good year last year. I think they're a good offense, man. I mean, again, they fired another defensive coordinator, so we'll see what that looks like. That's where, if I was going to rank Notre Dame a little bit above Texas, that would be it. I think Notre Dame's defense was better last year,
Yeah,
so I could see either way. Again, where what we said about Georgia, Texas is going to be the other way around. Texas
mhm.
is going to have to score points almost every game to win games.
Yeah. They're gonna be playing the game, and it's gonna all depend on like Arch Manning. It's the year for him. He came back. He probably could have came out last year. He stayed. Got those receivers that he got right now, and now he has no excuses. We're looking for him to be good. So I like Texas a little bit more than Notre Dame, but here and there. Let's talk about the champions. So we got Indiana's right there. A lot of people are like, oh well, they don't have Mendoza no more. They don't have Black anymore as the running back. They lost a lot of a couple of the receivers to the NFL draft as well. Couple of pieces on defense. I And that's how I was looking at it at first. I'm like, why is Indiana so high? How is Indiana so high? And like you said earlier, right? They got the Texas TCU quarterback there now that transferred in.
Hmm.
They already had some pieces, and when I really looked at it and analyzed it, I was like, man, this team is stacked, right? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Plus, I got Turbo Richards, a running back from Boston College, to
Mhm.
transfer there. And again, I think Indiana will be good. I mean, at this point, yeah, man, you can't question Kirk Signetti. I mean, the guy does it every year. He gets their players to play every year. I mean, again, their offense is going to look different. Again, I understand why if they would have been ranked 3 to 3 or 3 to 5, I would not have been surprised.
Yeah,
6, me, I'm not saying 6 is low, but they could have been a little higher. That's all.
yeah. And even with their I forgot they got Nick Marsh from Michigan
I
State,
mean, the one, right,
really
right,
good player. They already
right.
had Charlie Decker from last year.
Hmm.
So they got weapons there. Defense looks good as well. One of the guys that we interviewed, Byron Baldwin, I really like him coming into that program. So he's gonna have a chance to really, start and play. He looked solid last year as a freshman. So we'll definitely see, man. These are a lot of good.
I mean, I don't want to. I won't question the coach because I know he's very good.
Mhm.
You do know the last team to beat Indiana is Notre Dame, right?
Of course, you guys make that shout out, right?
I did. I did throw that in there.
Definitely. The next team after that will be the team that they beat in the championship last year, which was Miami. What's your thoughts on Miami, Ray?
Kind of similar to Indiana in that they could have been ranked a little higher for me. I think that they're again. We know they lost their quarterback, but they brought in Darian
Yeah,
Minsay for the transfer portal, and he's good.
yeah,
So I mean, again, man, it's like we'll see.
yeah.
Um, Mario Cristobal is a good coach and a good recruiter,
Mhm,
but you got to remember he did have. It was like 2 3 years ago when where the fans were doubting him
mhm.
because he wasn't a great game coach.
Yeah,
It's funny when you have more talent, you become a better game coach.
yeah,
So he's. I expect Miami to be right in the thick of things, and that's really all that matters, right? So
yeah,
they'll be in the thick of everything. If
yeah.
their quarterback can, if their quarterback can duplicate what the quarterback did last year, and their defense. My thing is, Miami got a lot of turnovers on defense last year, and
Yeah,
that is nothing you can predict from year to year.
yeah. I agree. Yeah, you can't say, oh, they got a lot of turnovers last year, so they're gonna have to be the same this year. You
That
can't. Like,
doesn't. It
you
doesn't.
don't know.
I have not looked at their schedule. It's probably half decent. Um, that's the other thing about Notre Dame. I'll admit, man, Notre Dame has a pretty cake schedule this year compared to last year.
Yeah, yeah. And Michigan is probably the opposite. I think they have a harder schedule this year, so we'll
They
definitely see.
do. Well,
Um,
you're in a really difficult conference now, Michigan. Like we were talking about off camera last year, man. The discrepancy in the talent level between the Big Ten and the SEC is razor thin right now, man.
close, getting close. But
Yep.
real quick, you talked about the schedule for Miami. I'm gonna tell you that. So the first game is against you guys, Notre Dame. Second game will be against Bethune Cookman. Third will be against South Florida.
That was
Fourth,
last year, right?
this is last year. No, it
Yeah.
says 2006. It's
No,
2000.
we play Miami later in the season this year.
Oh, hold
We
on.
play Miami November 7th.
Oh, am I getting the wrong information? Hold on,
Yeah,
right?
you're giving me that's last year's schedule.
Whoa. Okay. All right. I apologize. I'm looking on a
No,
certain
you're fine,
website.
man. Because that was I know because like I said earlier, we lost to Miami by 3 last year, the first game of the season.
Yes. All right. You're correct, right? Ray, I should have did ESPN. I should have got the better source. So I apologize. All right. Let's do that. Let's run that back. So the first game they got is at Stanford. The second game is against Florida A&M. The third game is against Florida, or Wake Forest. The fourth game is against Central Michigan. Fifth game will be against Clemson. The sixth game will be against FSU. Sixth game will be against Pitt. Seventh game will be against North Carolina. Eighth game will be against you guys, Notre Dame. So you is correct, right? Ninth game will be against Duke. 10th game will be against Georgia Tech, and 11th game will be against Boston College. So,
That's a horrible schedule, man.
Yeah.
That is a cake schedule, dude.
Yeah.
That's as bad as ours.
Yeah. So
I mean, maybe worse because some of our games are against like Purdue and Navy teams that can be good.
Correct.
I mean, I don't understand why. Whatever, man. I mean, I know I know the ACC is not a great conference, but that's a horrible conference schedule, dude.
I agree. I mean, you got Clemson, who's looking like they don't have their quarterback. They got a young quarterback back there. I always forget how to say his name, starts with Z. But we'll see how Clemson does this year. I don't think they're going to be. I think they're okay team. Florida State again, okay team. North Carolina, okay team. They got you guys, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much that's their highlight game right there. So to have them already at 7 with their schedule.
Well, well, that's the thing, though, Jerome. Like, and that's what bothers. That right there is what bothers me about the rankings. They're ranked 7 because of how good they were last year.
Right.
But if you look at their schedule this year, how are they going to lose any ground because they only have 1 or 2 tough games?
Correct.
So don't get me wrong, they're going to have to go out there and pulverize some of these teams, but they probably will.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
you definitely see. And we talk about the quarterback. We're going to talk about the quarterbacks a lot this season because this is going to be a deep quarterback draft this year. If everything's anticipated the way it's supposed to, deep quarterback draft this year. We'll definitely see. Next team we got is Texas A&M at number 8. We're going to speed through a little bit of this real quick. Ole Miss is at 9. Oklahoma's at 10. LSU's at 11. And Texas Tech is at 12. So do you agree with the last few being there, Ray?
You know what, Jerome? I'm a little. I would have Ole Miss ranked higher than Texas A&M.
I agree.
But only one spot. It's no big deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's no big deal, and it's the preseason rankings. They're gonna move around.
Yeah, as long as you're ranked in the top 10 or 15, you still should find your way into playoffs as long as you take care of your business. So
I agree. I'm trying to look for Ole Miss now. I'm not sure why I can't find her.
I mean, you know who was my sleeper team that I have like outside of the top 15 that I think BYU, because they're a Big 12 team, could find their way into the playoffs.
I like it.
I think they're a pretty good team. They usually play especially on offense, but their defense has been pretty good the last couple of years. And right now they have them ranked between 12 and 15. I think because Big 12 is not a loaded conference, you're going to have a lot of Big 12 people pushing for them to make the playoffs if they have a good record.
Oh, 100%. And I do want to go back on Ole Miss a little bit because this team is stacked. They got a stacked team. And I don't know if a lot of people know, but Trinidad Chambliss, we already seen what he did last year. If he can continue what he did last year, this kid is gonna be amazing. He got a lot of great weapons around him. Got Johnny Cook transferred in, really good receiver there. Shout out to my guy Juice Alexander. Look out for this kid. He's a Georgia guy. Got to watch him when he was in high school. This kid is going to impress. I've been keeping an eye on him during his training camps and his camps. He's very impressive. He had some amazing catches last year when he played sparingly. He's going to be the full-time starter this year. Keep an eye out for Deuce Alexander and all of y'all. the eye out for Deuce Alexander on Ole Miss. He's gonna be, dude. He's gonna turn heads. He's gonna make people names. I put my name on that one. I don't usually put my name on a lot of players. I'm putting my name on him. Keep an eye on Deuce Alexander. He's gonna be a dog this year. Another couple of guys that keep an eye on with this team. Jalen Crawford, cornerback up there, another Georgia guy. Yeah, there's a couple other guys in there. Obviously they got Lacey as a running back, so that's gonna help them as well with the offense. This offense is a lot more stacked than people think. It really is.
It is, and again, they got Trinidad Chandler's coming back because they allowed him to come back for one more year. The quarterback, and I think that Lane Kiffin is one of them guys. Like he's annoying, and people don't really like him. But I don't think he cares if people don't like him. So he kind of like he gets under people's skin a little bit. I think that's not a bad thing, especially when you're one of them teams that you want to make a run, and they want to make a run.
Yeah, I agree. All right, cool. So, interesting. I think okay, we're good. Never mind, we're good. All right, because I was looking at something for the next segment. But anyway, yeah. So that's another one. So Ray, you talked about BYU not being in their top 12. I totally agree with that. Now this team, I'm not gonna necessarily say top 12, but in that 12, 13, 14 range. I personally think people are sleeping on this team. I have them way higher than most people. Even the coaches poll have them a little bit higher, but not too high, and that'd be Tennessee. I think Tennessee is a stacked team. We're trying to figure out who's going to be their quarterback. We'll see who that will be. Between I think his name is George McIntyre, I believe. What's the one quarterback, and then the other one is Brandon Frazier, who I personally think Brandon. I actually think that he's going to be the starter this year. Bigger body guy. He's a freshman. So I think that they're looking at two quarterbacks that are coming in as one's a redshirt freshman and one's a freshman. George McIntyre McIntyre. I said it right.
Yeah, McIntyre. Yeah, George McIntyre. It's George McIntyre and Faison Brandon.
Correct, Faison Brandon.
They're both young guys competing for the starting job this year, but again, they're young guys, man. I mean, I think Tennessee in 2027 will be a lot more of a dangerous team than this year.
So why I agree with you, Ray. Look at the receivers that this Tennessee team has. They're stacked at receiver though. You got Brandon Staley, who was the freshman player of the year for the SEC last year. You got Mike Matthews, really good physical receiver right there. Radian Jackson. You got TK Keys, who's a freshman that everybody's talking about. Travis Smith, who's a big, strong receiver. Their receiver core is stacked. I think their offensive line is pretty good as well. So I think that you can have.
Yeah, but you're not talking about the problem they have on defense, and that's where their problems are.
Yeah. I hear you.
I mean, they replaced defensive coordinators again for the second time in 3 years. And I'm not saying that a new mind could bring a new focus. Maybe they can he change things up enough for them to, again, they have a good offense, except for the young quarterbacks. They're loaded on offense.
Yeah.
But you're still talking about young quarterbacks. My only fear is if one guy struggles one week, are we going to change him and then keep doing that all year? That doesn't really give him a chance to build on the offense that way. And I would rather have one established guy and then the other guy back him up than kind of have two guys that aren't established. And if their defense were good, then I'd be like, okay, they'll make do with the quarterback, just not turning the ball over. But their defense isn't good. So that scares me.
Ray, it's hard for me to even say that the defense is not good because most of their defense is transfers in this year. They only got 5 players that are coming back as starters. So most of their
Yeah, but
defense,
again, you're
and I
talking
like,
about a whole new coaching staff and a different theory and philosophy.
yeah, like I
Again, I'm
said,
not saying you're wrong, Jerome. I just think I would feel better watching your defense before I predict. Like they were 8-5 last year. I mean, to be a top 12 team, they'd probably have to win at least 9, 10, 11 games.
mhm.
And again, they're in the SEC. It's not going to be easy for them. And I don't know if I knew what their schedule was, I'd probably have a better feel for it. But I don't know that off the top of my head.
I can tell you right now, but I
All
will
right.
say that I agree with you in the sense of where they're ranked right now. Yes, 20 is reasonable for everything that you said. Their schedule looks crazy. But I agree with you. What they were saying, with them being at 20 right now, I totally agree. I totally like that.
Right. I mean, I think that if I were the coach of their team, I would, of course, you just go in there and prepare and win as many games as you can every year. That's the theory. That's the game plan. But I
Understand.
think if I'm a Tennessee fan, I'm looking at it like, let's make progress. Let's win 9, 10 games, maybe be in the bowl, in the playoff, in competition. If not, definitely make a strong bowl. And then the year after that, when we know which one of these quarterbacks are going to shake out, and we got another year of build on our defense, then maybe we can actually compete for an SEC title.
No, I agree. And right now, looking at the schedule, it's changing my tune a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, right? The good thing is that they have a chance early on to really get everything kind of together
Mm-hmm.
and figure out who's going to be the quarterback, how's everything looking, work out the kinks. But their schedule is brutal, right? They're gonna start the game out. They start the year out with against Furman. They're gonna be at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is a good team.
That's
So
a good team.
next is gonna be Kennesaw State. And then after this is a gauntlet. They play number 5 Texas. They play Auburn after that, Arkansas, Alabama, South Carolina, Kentucky, Texas A&M, LSU, and then they finish the year with Vanderbilt. Man,
You know what, though, Jerome? There's some winnable games there, though.
there is, there is.
I mean, there's some tough games. I mean, honestly, that I would, again, just try to build on every game.
Yeah,
They do have they do have the Georgia Tech game is a tough game.
correct.
But again, I think that you could find your way into winning 8, 9, 10 games if you improve from last year's defense.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So we'll definitely see, man. I'm excited for this year. I'm excited for this, and we'll see how these rankings go. They flip around, move around all year, every year. We'll see. I think honestly, the top 3 is gonna probably actually maybe even the top 5 might stay the same for like at least 5 weeks. We'll see though. But speaking of these, speaking of the rankings and the schedule, right? We're gonna talk about our top 5 most anticipated games of this season, right? So I'm gonna let you start off, Ray, with your number 5, and then I'll go with my number 5. So who
You
is
know
your
what,
number?
Jerome? I'm gonna cheat like usual. I'm gonna give you 6 of them, okay?
Oh my God, Ray.
All right, man. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm pretty biased. 3 of these are Notre Dame games, and 3 of these are Ohio State games.
Okay,
Okay,
gotcha.
because I mean, I think that in the Big Ten, there are some mediocre teams at the bottom of the conference, and if you get to play them teams, you're lucky. Um, so I'm going to give you. You want to go one at a time, or you want to just give you all 6
Yeah,
of them?
let's do one at a time. So you'll do your 5.
Okay. Well, I'll give you my first one. I'm going to give you 2 of them. I'm looking forward to the October 17th game against Notre Dame against BYU because, again, Notre Dame only has a handful of difficult games this year, and that's one of them. That's the first one. So I'm looking forward to that one. And Ohio State at Michigan on November 26th.
Okay. Okay. So obviously, I'm gonna have that game higher for
No, I
me.
get that.
But yeah, I like those two. Those two probably are going to be the Ohio State's biggest games of the year. I think they got one more. Don't they play Oregon this year?
They do. They play Oregon and Texas.
Oregon and Texas. Oh, they got Oregon
Yeah.
and Texas. Okay,
Yeah.
so they got four pretty good games. Two Oregon and Texas. Yeah, Oregon, Texas. They got USC. They got Indiana this year. So their team is. I mean, their schedule's not super easy. I mean, they got a lot of cupcake games that they're just gonna destroy guys.
Well, that's because I mean, this is my thing. Like, if you play in a conference, you're going to have easy games because there's always going to be the teams that are struggling this year,
Correct. Correct. But, you got USC, Oregon, Indiana. So they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They got 6 games on their schedule with currently ranked teams. So we'll see. I love the fact that they starting out with Texas early, though. I love that game. I love the fact that I think I have that on my most anticipated. No, I don't actually. I love that game. I can't wait to see that one. That's going to be interesting because the fact that when I said with Texas, I think they're higher than they were their ranked, even though it's not that much higher. That was a good one. And then you got Oregon, so they're going to be playing at least two teams in the top 5 this year.
Yeah.
I like that. I hate watching Ohio State have these mediocre kind of games and.
Well, don't worry. Later on, we'll talk about the Penn State schedule. It's okay.
Yeah. So I'm glad. I'm gonna go with my number 5 now, and that's gonna be UJ versus Alabama. That game is always a good anticipated game. That's gonna be on October 10th. So every year, that's gonna be a good game for me, especially me being down here in Atlanta. Those games are always, the most talked about down here while I'm down here as well. So I'm looking forward to that. The matchup might not be as close as we gonna want it, but I think Alabama's gonna be slightly better this year. They was terrible last year, in my opinion. I think they're gonna be better this year. And it's pretty early. Usually we get that game a little bit later in the year. They making some of these games a little bit earlier in the year, which is great because now I remember a few years ago, me and Ray was like, dude, there's no good games in week 0 or 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're spreading them out a little bit where you at least you have a few, and we'll talk about it on our next podcast. The week 1 games, but 0 games. So, but I'm glad that they kind of spread them out. This one's pretty early. This is in about a month and a half at this point. So I'm excited about that one. Ray, who's your number 4 most anticipated game?
Notre Dame versus Miami, November 7th.
Wow, you got them lower. I got them higher, Ray. I got that game too. I got it higher. Okay. Like it. Good.
Notre Dame really only has 3 really, really difficult games, and that's one of them. And we owe Miami from last year, so we'll see what happens.
Yes, I do. That's gonna be a good game. Yeah. So like I got that game a little bit higher. My number 4 game is gonna be another Georgia game. Georgia versus Ole Miss. The reason why is that again, I think Ole Miss has a really good roster. People are not anticipating them. I actually think Georgia is not as good, and we already talked about that, as they're ranked right now and how they are. I think that's a great matchup to be like, all right, Ole Miss, this is your test. This is Ole Miss. I need y'all to show me what I think who y'all think y'all are. That's gonna be a November 7th game, so a little bit ways away. Both teams gonna be established. They're gonna know who they are. We all gonna know pretty much like, all right, Ole Miss is this, Georgia's that. Now put them together. It's not an early game where the teams are trying to figure out who they are. because again we don't have preseason, which stinks. But
Mm-hmm.
this is gonna be a match right there. All
I
right,
like
Ray.
that pick, Jerome. I think that's a game where, again, if Ole Miss wants to be that team like we talked about earlier, that's a big game for them.
Yes, exactly. All right, number 3, Ray. Who you got?
I got Ohio State at Texas on September 12th.
Fine.
That's an early game. That's going to be fun.
Yes, I agree. Ray, we're on the same wavelength, but I switched the team.
Okay.
I have Ohio State versus Oregon.
Okay. Well, that's my next pick. So, okay.
Top 2 teams. Yeah, that's your next pick. The top
Yeah.
2 teams. It's gonna be a slugfest. I really like Dante Moore, another quarterback. We didn't talk about Oregon enough earlier, but Dante Moore is gonna be one of the top quarterbacks this year. If it all comes into play. Really good player right there. Got a lot of crazy weapons. DeMarion Moore, a whole bunch of other guys. I can't remember everybody right now from the top of my head, and I can look that up real quick. But that team, and then you got the Ohio State Buckeyes, who are another stacked team. That's what it is. Evan Stewart, that was the other quarterback. Wide receiver. But yeah, man, this is gonna be a slugfest. I think, man, that's gonna be fun. I can't wait to see that one. Ray, you got them a little higher, and I guess that's your next pick, right?
Yeah, that's my next pick. I have Ohio State versus Oregon. That's November 7th. I think that is a game where I honestly, if the game were in Oregon, I would pick Oregon to win the game. But because it's in Ohio State, I would hesitate a little bit.
Gotcha. We'll
I
see when
think
it gets.
I think Oregon's defense is as good as almost anybody in college football.
I agree. Dude, it's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a great one. We'll see.
Yep,
I'm glad they got a lot of good matchups this year. So
they do.
my number 2 is gonna be the game that you talked about, Ray, and I say I have them a little bit higher. Notre Dame versus Notre Dame versus Miami. Sorry. I wouldn't want to play y'all this year. I'm not gonna lie. Notre Dame versus Miami, right? I think that's a really good game. We'll see how that goes. That's going to be the rematch, the revenge game. And again, that's going to be one of those games that really going to tell me a lot about both of these teams. I'm excited for it.
I agree.
All right. Who is your number 1?
Notre Dame versus SMU. I think that SMU is, because it's November 21st. That will let me know exactly where Notre Dame stands, because that's a game where they may be favored, but it's going to be a very close game.
Okay, cool. But I'm surprised on that one. I'm not surprised that he picked a Notre Dame game, but I'm surprised it's SMU for you. Interesting. You got that one higher.
What's that?
I said you got that one higher than the Miami game.
Only because I know a lot of Miami fans, and I don't want to give them.
Listen, it's your anticipated game. You can rank it what you want.
Yo, man, let me tell you something, man. I don't understand why there are as many Hurricane fans around this area as there are, to be honest with you. I don't get it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But they're like Cowboy fans, They just glommed onto them back in the early 80s.
Yeah, no.
That's all.
It makes sense.
Dude, there's nothing wrong. You can, I agree with root for any team you want. I have a stupid reason for rooting for Notre Dame. My grandfather and my uncle, my cousin were Notre Dame fans, so I've been a Notre Dame fan. Everybody has a reason. I don't understand why anybody in this area would be a Miami Hurricane fan.
Yeah.
Unless you were born down there.
Yeah. It makes sense. They're not even in the SEC where
you're talking to a guy who's a Dolphins fan.
Yeah.
And I still don't understand it.
True.
I guess if my dad would have told me I guess if my dad would have told me I should be a Miami Hurricanes fan, I would have done that too. But the
Yeah,
only thing when I was young, the only thing they did it in the Orange Bowl, Miami Hurricanes, was export cocaine. So
anyway, but Ray, what you saying? Like, I understand why you're saying there. You don't understand why there's a lot of Miami fans up there because they're an ACC team. Their games don't get like shown up there that much.
right. I mean, if they
And
were say they were an SEC team or
yeah,
they were a Big Ten team, then they go, okay, you like the SEC, you like the Big Ten.
yeah,
They're an ACC team, dude. Most people don't even know that.
exactly. And the fact that all right, for me, they'd be like, all right, how you were a Michigan fan in Jersey? They played a lot of Michigan games in that
Again,
area.
you love Big Blue. I mean, I get it. I do. I get it. I have cousins and uncles that are Michigan fans. I get it. I do. You sometimes you just follow the logo. I guess technically that's I follow the logo.
Yeah.
I'll say that. My grandfather, my uncle, and my cousin were all Notre Dame fans. I
Hmm.
followed the logo. I was very young at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but to me, if you're a Hurricane fan, because they have a history from like the early '80s. Before that, they were never any good, man.
I agree. I agree. They had that one crazy decade, and that was about it.
I mean, don't get me wrong, man. Again, they're one of the better programs in the fact that they do get a lot of talent down there. I'm not trying to, man, them 80 teams with Ed Reed and them guys, man, them teams were loaded, absolutely loaded. So, and again, if you're a fan of that, that's fine. Again, there's just too many Hurricane fans up here, and I talk to Hurricane fans, and I'll be like, "Do you know what? They don't even know what conference they're in."
Oh, that's not good. That's not good.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. That's not good. All right. Let me get to my number one, and I'm pretty sure it's not a surprise. We kind of talked about it earlier. They call it the game for a reason. Ohio, Michigan. Ohio State and Michigan. Sorry. Sorry for disrespecting our team. But again, and it's more about the future of Michigan more than it being a good game in a sense. Because if Michigan can keep up with them, and we're gonna really see how Bryce Underwood plays, and if he's gonna be the guy that we paid to bring in, I think that game is gonna really be the tell. It really is gonna set up how our future is gonna be. Because Bryce only a sophomore at this point. Last year he's a true freshman, and I'm on record to say that I didn't see enough out of him. But at the same time, I also think the coaching staff did not bring the best out of him at the same time. So now we got
Mhm.
a comfortable coach in there. He's going to be in place. He knows he's the guy. He already made some crazy claims. I want to see it now. It's enough talking, Bryce. You're talking a lot of good games. You're getting the big money. I want to see what you got now. So for me, that's the most anticipated game next year. This year coming up, and every year that game matters for both teams in some type of way, in some type of fashion. So,
I just
I'm
think that if you're in Michigan and you play well in that game, you have a shot at winning it.
mhm.
It could propel you into maybe you're a playoff team or maybe you're not. You
Yeah,
know,
100%, 100%. So we'll definitely see. All right, and then our last topic, we're gonna go into our top 5 underrated games. Right, let's get your number 5.
my number 5 underrated game is September 5th, Penn State against versus Marshall.
Penn State versus Marshall. Ooh.
Versus Marshall. Why? Why?
I don't know.
Why? Okay.
Do
All right.
you do you think Marshall have a chance though?
No,
Oh,
no, no, no. I don't. That's the point, though.
okay.
If you're Penn State, why would you even play that game? And get me wrong, I do like Matt Campbell, the coach that Penn State hired. I think that was a great hire. but I think they gave him a really horrible, easy schedule with the idea of maybe. I mean, I don't know, Jerome. I just don't like. I think their schedule is horrible.
Yeah, no, I agree. My number 5 is Oklahoma versus Utah. And the reason why is I think Oklahoma is a pretty good team. Are they right? No, they're not right. But I think Arkansas is a pretty good team, and Utah, are change. They have a lot of changing of guards, and Ray, you already know how I feel about Utah. I really like that program. Um, Now their head coach is now with Michigan now, but I think that this is going to be a game to kind of help Utah in a sense of giving them an identity, see how they are, and what kind of team they are against a pretty solid team. So I think that's going to be an underrated game where people are going to like it a little bit more than anticipated. All right, Red, who's your number 4?
September 12th, Penn State at Temple.
Oh, that's a terrible game.
That doesn't make any sense. Now we are doing the top 5 games we don't like, right?
No, it's underrated. Underrated. So
Okay.
games that people. I'm sorry for
Oh,
not.
I read that wrong, Drum. I'm sorry.
Got you. So underrated was basically games that you think are better than most people are gonna like.
Oh, I like that. Okay, that's better. Okay.
All right.
I
So
thought you meant like games that we don't like, bad games we weren't anticipating to really want to watch. That's how
no,
I took that.
no.
Okay.
Underrated. Underrated. So
Okay.
I'm gonna give you my full list, and then I'm gonna let you kind of like regather your list a little bit.
You got it, man. Let me gather my wrist here. This year, go ahead.
You're good. You're good. So the first game was Arkansas versus Utah. My fourth game was Baylor versus Auburn. I think those two teams are actually pretty close together. Actually, Auburn lost a lot during the transfer portal, but I still think they got a pretty decent team. Baylor's a game where DJ Lugway is I think that's how you say his name. DJ Lugway is the quarterback there. So we're going to see how that team matches up beat for beat. We're going to see how Baylor works this year. They got a better quarterback this year than they had in the last couple of years. So I think that's going to be my number 4. Number 4. Number 3, again, I'm a Michigan fan, so I'm going to have a Michigan game on here. Michigan versus Oklahoma. That game is very early in the season. That's going to be our test. That's going to be, hey, is Michigan as good as they're supposed to be? And I think, right now, Oklahoma's ranked number 10, Michigan's number 16, pretty early game. I actually think that is their second game. Yep, the second game of the season. So we get a little warm-up game with the West Michigan team, a team that not too far from us. They actually come to our house. Oklahoma's going to come to our house, so that's a home game. Actually, Michigan got 4 straight home games. So I'm looking forward. Dang, I just realized we only got 4 away games this year, which I love. I love that. I love that because now I was hoping to get to a Michigan game this year. So I love that we got a lot more home games this year. So maybe I can catch one this year. If I go this year, this will be my first Michigan game ever going in live. So I would love to go there. I always wanted to go to the big house. So hopefully I'll be able to do that this year. It's gonna be a long flight for me, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So but yeah, that's gonna be the tone setter for me. I got that number 3. That's my tone setting. Game to see where Michigan is. Win or lose, if they're gonna be close, if it's gonna be a contest, that's how it's gonna be for me to measure how Michigan is, win or lose. It's really about how we play. Is it going to be a tight game? How Bryce Underwood performs. So I'm excited about that one because they toasted us last year. They toasted us. So I want that bounce back game. I want that rebound game from last year. Number 2, I think a lot of people are not talking about these two teams enough. I also think that it's kind of rightfully so in a sense. Because of the changeovers and everything. But number 2 for me is Colorado versus Georgia Tech. I'm so excited for that game. Georgia Tech is a lot better team than a lot of people think. They actually have Mendoza, who's Fernando Mendoza's little brother, is going to be the quarterback at Georgia Tech. They got Justin Hayes, who's a former Michigan running back. They're they got a team over there. They got a lot of good defensive players as well. Same thing with Colorado. They got what's their quarterback name again? He's actually from Georgia. I actually got to interview him. Julian Lewis. Sorry, Julian Lewis, who was a highly rated quarterback coming out of high school. He's actually, I think, second, number 2 quarterback in the country. So he's coming back in as a redshirt freshman. Had a couple of games under his belt last year. So super excited to see how that goes. And then my number 1 game of the year is going to be Alabama versus Tennessee. Again, I'm higher on Tennessee than most people. I think Alabama's about the same amount of talent level. So that's going to be a big game for me to see how that goes. Trying to see if I can get that schedule real quick while I'm talking about it. But I'm excited for that one. I think that's going to be a show me how Tennessee is going to be this year kind of game for me. I think that, again, I'm higher on that team than most people. That's going to be October 17th. So pretty much mid-season, and it's going to be, hey, Tennessee's good or they're not good. They're already going to play Texas, so I think they're not going to beat. They got Auburn right after that, Arkansas, and then they're going to be home against Alabama. So I'm excited about that. That's my top 5 underrated games of the season. So Ray, how's your list looking right now?
I'm just about done, man.
All right, cool, man. But yeah, I'm excited about this season, man. With all the different matchups, all the different schedules and everything. I think this year's schedules are so much more better than the last couple because they're actually mixing them up. It's not all the weaning teams in the beginning.
Nah, there's more. It seems to be more balanced, more thought of giving us something more quality games at the beginning of the year to watch.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
Yeah.
I actually have one more game that I want to shout out. I think it's the first game of the season. Let me double check real quick, guys. Give me 1 second. Yeah, it's not really that game. Okay, I misspoke. I thought that was the first game. It might be. Is it Texas this year? Hold on, let me see. But Ray, if you have yours,
I do.
You can start.
Well, my number 5 one is October 3rd, Minnesota versus Michigan. In Minnesota, I think again this is a game there are 2 competitive teams. Whoever wins this game goes up, and whoever loses this game is probably not going to be even in the playoff rankings. So, I mean, it depends on where the games before that go. But I looked at both of their schedules real quick, and they both have similar type schedules, like the same quality of teams. So I think that's going to be a good game. I think that it's going to be 2 competitive teams. That's not really it's not one of these games where I think one team would be an upset over the other. I just think it'll be a very competitive game, physical game, a game that I'm looking forward to. A game where I think there could be an upset is Wake Forest versus Miami on September 18th. I think Wake Forest is one of them sneaky defenses where they could give you some problems if the quarterback turns the ball over. And again, Miami's got a young quarterback this year, so we'll see what happens.
No, 100%. And Wait for his quarterback, Gio Lopez. I think I hear a lot about him. I don't know a lot about him, but hearing people like he looks good.
Yeah,
So
he's a pretty good athlete, and it looks like he's going to be a decent player. I think that's a game where Miami has tough games sandwiched around them,
yeah.
and that could be a look pass game. And I think that Wake Forest could wind up maybe even beating them outright in the game. To be honest with you,
Ooh.
so
Uh,
yeah.
you beating
Um,
Miami today,
what's
right?
that?
So you beating up on Miami today, right?
Yeah, I know. Um, October 17th, Indiana versus Ohio State.
mm,
Big game for both teams. I think most people would expect Ohio State to win the game,
yeah,
but I'm going to give Indiana at least a fighting chance of upsetting Ohio State because they are at home, so that's a plus for Indiana.
yeah,
I think going to Ohio State is a tough atmosphere. Playing in Indiana, again, you'd be playing against probably the number one team in the country. It's a huge game for you.
yes, yeah.
You know, number four, I have Illinois versus Oregon. One offensive team, one defensive team. Whoever has the ball last may win the game.
Yeah.
So I like that game a lot, and that's October 24th. And my last one is Washington at Oregon on November 28th.
Washington.
Again, to Oregon with two or three, 4 games in a row with playing pretty good teams. And again, that's a game where, well, Washington's not that great, but we'll see how good they are. You know, we'll see.
Definitely. Yeah. And I love this part of the year because we never know who is,
Yeah.
who's watching and everything like that. So, I mean, who's
Hmm.
good, not good. And I
Yeah.
think college football is the hardest because, especially now with, all the transfers, we don't know how that's going. Obviously, in football in general, injuries is always a big thing. Yeah, that is always a huge thing and can completely turn the tides on who's going to be good and who's not going to be good, especially at the quarterback position. So we'll see how that
Hmm.
goes. And then it's also like the talent level. Like some teams are more talented than some are not.
Yeah.
Porter helps that out a lot. So
Yeah.
we are anticipating a lot of these games because we're like, all right, they got this player that might be good, that player might be good, but at the grand scheme of things, we only know if they're good if they played for 3 years. Really,
Correct. Correct.
if they
And
haven't
it's
played.
funny. I was talking to a guy the other day about betting, and I'm like, I'm not a big better.
Yeah,
He's like, oh, you're a big football fan. But, I'm like, I do better betting on the draft than betting on games.
I agree. I
I
agree.
do.
Yeah,
I do better picking where guys are going to be picked in the draft than I do betting on football games.
yeah. And it makes sense. There's too many variables. It's way too many
Yeah.
variables, especially with football, with injuries
Like
and
to me, if you remember the one year we had to like 3 or 4 defensive linemen from Clemson go bing, 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 bing.
yeah,
And it was easier to predict where those guys would go because they all had something that they were very good at,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So,
Remember the time we thought Ryan Williams would be the top
yeah,
receiver, and he struggled last year. So again, we
yeah.
don't know. We just don't know. We can be like, oh, this player is good, that player is good, that. But it's
In the end, Jerome, it takes a marriage of scheme versus coach versus player.
correct.
And if you don't get all three of them, you have a Sam Darnold situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it just happens.
Hmm.
Like it happens. Like where you got a guy who was a good player in college get drafted by the wrong coach in the wrong situation and the wrong atmosphere.
Yep.
I mean, not everybody's cut out to play in New York. Let's face it. It's how it is. You
Yep.
know?
Definitely, definitely. But I'm excited for this year, man. We're gonna be a lot more consistent with our podcast. Ray, I believe we agreed on Thursday.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yep.
So RPO College Football Podcast will be every Thursday night at 7:30. So make sure that you check us out. We're gonna post this, and we're gonna make sure that we're consistent. Make sure you check us out because a lot of people be on our podcast because we make predictions based on the lines and things like that too. So you are a better. We don't like betting. That we're not encouraging betting, but hey, you like betting? We give some pretty good insight on that. And
Yeah, man,
we
we do our best in trying to figure out what the lines mean and what if they're saying anything to us. I would never tell anybody to bet their money on my word though, because I won't.
please don't. Please don't. Hey, don't be coming back yelling at us. But we have found some people that love us because they do some betting and stuff like that. So, like we said, this is an interactive podcast. So, when we are doing those rankings and everything like that, make sure you come back and check us out. Let us know, hey, what about this game? What about that game? We had a couple of guys last year do that as well. So super excited about that, guys. We thank you for getting on. We got a couple of new people on here. So all our new people on here, appreciate y'all. Make sure you go like and subscribe. Make sure you go on and help us out. Help us, with our YouTube channel. Bring it up. Put the notification bell on so you know when we are live. Like I said, we're gonna be a lot more consistent, so you'll know when the podcast will be on. Um, if emergency happens, we will let you guys know. Hey, we won't be on this week and things like that. But for the most part, we should be a lot more consistent every Thursday night at 7:30. So make sure you check that out. Make sure you go check out all our social medias as well. So if there is a change, we will let you guys know on our social media as well. And like I said, check us out on InsideTheHatches.com where you can find all our great content and everything on there as well. Ray, any closing words? You got a Ray rant real quick?
Nah, man. I don't know if you heard. I don't want to pick on Penn State, but there's a lot of allegations about drug stuff going on right now, and I'm not going to get into much of it. Just somebody pretty high up in the university was something accusations about cocaine use. Don't know exactly the whole story, so I don't want to cover all of it, but that's part of it. No, just again, let's get back into enjoying college football like we used to. That's all.
100%, 100%. So I can't wait to get to this, man. It's been a long time, Ray. I'm glad we back. I'm glad you guys are back. I'm looking forward to all you guys' questions and everything that you guys are going to be asking us for this as well. So, I'm excited for the season. Um, I'm excited to be back with Ray. Go Blue. Right and hey guys, appreciate y'all, man. We're gonna have fun this year. So again, see you guys on Thursday where we're gonna go down and break down week 0 game. And we might dabble into a little bit of week 1 as well because it's not as many week 0 games. But yeah, man, excited to be back. Let's do it. So thank you guys so much once again. This is Jerome Jones. That's Ray Roberts, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.